Hey, what's up, y'all? Joe here with the Texas Rancher, and today I've got a really exciting project I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be installing the audio package into my CFmoto Uforce 800XL. There isn't a lot of information about this system online, and so I'm really excited about doing an unboxing, going over the specs with y'all, and the installation on the machine. So what I'm going to do is I'll be breaking this video up into different parts and editing it all together. I've got a tripod here, and I'm going to do my best to record everything for y'all. And I hope you get some information out of it, and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, well, let's get into the unboxing. Okay, let's go ahead and start the unboxing here. Like I said previously, I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting a system in my CFmoto ever since I got it. For a while, I've been searching online, doing research, trying to find some other pieces that I could buy and piece together a system myself. But finally just broke down and bought this because I know for a fact that it fits the machine. It's made for it. And so that's why I went ahead and did it. Also, I ordered the bus bar separately. And by the way, before I get into this, big shout out to the people over at Team MSE. That's Main Street Cycle up in Missouri. And I follow Blake at Real Talk Power Sports on YouTube. He works for Team MSE, and it's because of him that I even bought the CFmoto Uforce 800XL. You know, they put out a lot of videos about these machines and a lot of good information. So I bought this audio package from the website, the Team MSE website. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will put a link to this system in the description. So anyway, this is the bus bar. It's $40, and it's a separate piece, but this will go underneath the hood and give me a place to wire up accessories. So that's why I got this. Here's the head unit. This is a marine grade audio system, so it can get wet. And there's a cubby in the dash. If you have a Uforce 800XL, then you know there's a cubby in the dash for this to mount in there. And it's got your wiring harness here. And from what I understand, it's already pre-wired underneath the dash, and this will just plug and play. So that's what the head unit looks like. I'll read some specs for you off of the box, and until we actually do the installation, I won't be able to, go through the screen and show you all the menu options. Here are the speakers. I believe these are 6-inch speakers. I hope they sound really good. Real Talk Power Sports did a video on this a while back. They didn't really go into detail about the specs or anything, but they did play some music through the speakers. But, online, it's really hard to get an idea of what a sound system sounds like. But these have a little pigtail on them. Again, these are all plug and play into the harness. These are made by Quart. It's a company I've heard of before. I'm not real familiar with them. If you're looking at marine grade speakers and audio systems online, you'll see that there are quite a few made by Quart. But these are designed where they can get wet. So, which is exactly what I need. And here's some more wiring right here. The installation, according to Real Talk Power Sports video, looks pretty straightforward. Everything is already wired up underneath the dash. Just have to pop a plate off and then screw that head unit in and plug it in. So let me show you guys what it says on the box here. So here's what it says on the box, and I'll read it to you. It's an audio system specifically designed for the CFmoto Uforce 600. It also, obviously fits the 800. AM, FM, Bluetooth with Apple, iPod, iPhone control, built-in 5-band equalizer, 6.5-inch coaxial speakers, composite construction, mid-range for deep and accurate mid-bass, 0.75-inch titanium dome tweeter for crystal clear high frequencies, high impact HDPE composite enclosure, ultra compact design, takes up minimal space, Life Shield IPX rated, fully protected against the elements. So there you have it. That's all the information that's listed on the box. There isn't a lot of information online about this system either. That was something that I found frustrating because this machine is new. There aren't a lot of aftermarket accessories for it. There aren't a lot of accessories from CFmoto for it either. I mean, there are some, but when you look at the CFmoto website, there's a very brief description about this on there. There's only one photograph. There's only one video on YouTube by Real Talk Power Sports showing the installation. But I believe, in my opinion, they skipped over a lot of really good, useful information that they could have shared. Not a knock on them. The video is a little bit dated, and it's on a 600 instead of 800 XL. But that's the thing that I've found frustrating after buying this machine is the limited amount of accessories and information that you can find. So I trust this fits my machine. I'm really excited about it. I hope that it sounds good. And we're going to do an installation today, and I will try my best to show y'all step by step how that is done. All right, we'll see you in the next part of the video. Okay, before I start installing the audio system, I went ahead and put the bus bar on. I was filming it a while ago and ran into some issues, but now that I know exactly how to do it, I'll share that with you. First off, when you open up the hood on your 800 XL, there will be a bolt here. Just you can take a hex head bit or a Torx bit and remove that. I don't know what size it is. My tools are wore out. I couldn't read the label on them, but remove this bolt. The bus bar comes with 2 bolts. They're a little bit longer than the factory one. Use the bolt that they provide, and then there's a hole here already threaded, and so you can use one of the bolts provided and put it in there. This little dust cover just goes underneath here. It's printed to face this direction because if you put it on the way they recommend, it faces the windshield, and it's kind of hard to read where it says AC and ground and whatnot. So I put it this way. The plug that the pigtail that comes off of the machine, it has a dust cover or a dummy cover on it, and so you'll need to pull that out, and you'll need a tiny flathead screwdriver to lift up this white tab, and then you can pull that cover out. And then the pigtail that comes on the bus bar, which I was sitting here trying to plug it in and it wouldn't fit like a dummy, and then I realized what I was trying to plug in is also a dummy cover. So you'll need to remove that, and then it'll plug right in. Or it should. Okay, I had to turn it over. Now it's snapped in. So now this is going to have power instead of having to put your accessories in where your winch and stuff is. So, and then you got this little cover, and it'll snap on there. So that's how you install the bus bar. Really straightforward and simple. I fumbled around with it for 10 minutes, and so I re-recorded the video, and hopefully that'll save you some time. Okay, here we are with everything that come in the box. I've got it all laid out here. I've just finished installing the bus bar, and I'm just going to show you what all comes in the box. I know we did the unboxing, but now that I've got it all laid out, it might be easier to see everything. So obviously you got your 2 6.5-inch coaxial speakers. You've got your head unit that comes with the wiring harness on it. Everything is labeled. I suppose this white cord is probably the antenna. actually even included some zip ties. I think these are going to be for the speakers. And then you've got your harness here that I believe this plugs into the machine, and then the stereo plugs into this, I think. Then on the face of the head unit, you're going to have a blank here to cover up where you would put another accessory port. And then you've got one that goes here, and it comes with an additional USB port that goes in there and plugs in. Then it also comes with some screws and stuff. I believe these are for the speakers. Also, it comes with a full color. Well, yeah, it comes with a full color installation guide. It looks pretty good. I just kind of skimmed over it a while ago, and I believe this is going to be really easy to understand. I've watched a video on the installation. I have a pretty good idea of how it all goes together, but this manual is really going to be helpful. Then also it's got a user's manual, so once you get it installed, it goes through how to actually operate the system, which I think that is really good. They included that too. Nowadays, when you order stuff, you can't never tell if you're even going to get a user's manual at all. Sometimes I order things from Amazon and it just comes in a box and there's nothing else but what's in the package. There's no paperwork or anything. So anyway, we're going to get to the installation, and I will try to record as much of it as I can, being that I only have a tripod here. So I hope it turns out good. All right, so far I've got one speaker mounted, but I ran into a problem that I want to share with y'all. So as you can see here, there's a big gap right here because I had to put a longer screw in. Let me show you the hardware that it comes with. So in the little package of screws, you have these two longer ones. You got these little ones. I'm assuming those are probably for the head unit. Then there's this one lone screw here. The template goes like this. You got to take out that screw right there out of the bottom of the dash, and then you've got to screw into there. But as you can see, there's about 1 inch of space, and then there's a divot in the bottom of this plastic, and that's where you mark your hole and drill a hole through the floorboard there, and that is for this bolt right here. And this bolt screws into the back of the speaker, and it comes with some Loctite on it, which is good. But the way the speaker mounts, try to hold it one-handed here. The way the speaker mounts is like that. And you can see it's not even close to being able to reach there. It shows them doing it in the video on Real Talk Power Sports, but they're doing it 3 years ago on a Uforce 600. The information on this says that it fits the 800 XL, and it says that on the Main Street Cycle website where this audio system is listed. That's the only problem that I've came up with so far. Let me find the screw that I am using for it, if I can find it. Well, I've got a box of them here, wherever I put it at. So this screw here, this is actually a wood screw, but it's still kind of like a self-tapping screw, and that's what I'm going to put in there. Also on the bolt, I recommend putting a washer on it, a good sized washer, because it screws in back here. You can see I've got a washer on it. That's to keep it from pulling through the plastic. I did get it nice and firm, firmly tight. And I also got the long screw up top pretty snug, but you know, you don't want to over tighten anything going into plastic. So my only concern right now is how long will that screw into that plastic last? It's pretty solid. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's gonna budge. I mean, it's in there good, you know. As far as getting out of the machine, I don't think I'm gonna kick it with my leg or anything, but I just don't have a lot of confidence in that lasting for a long period of time. I guess worst case scenario is I can always just, you know, mount speakers elsewhere, some aftermarket speakers or something, but not happy with the template the way it is. There's a lot of room for human error when it comes to marking a hole that you're gonna drill in your machine that you can't take back. I mean, it's only a little hole in the floorboard, but once you put this up there and line that up, we've got an inch of space where, you know, it doesn't look right. And then, you know, you got that little hole down there. I tapped that in with a punch so that when I go to drill my hole, the drill bit won't move around like it did on me on the other one. And I had to waller out that hole a little bit to compensate for some error. But now that I've done that one, I think this one's gonna go a little smoother. Another problem that I ran into is when you're holding up the speaker, you know, you'll get the top one started just a little. Well, you can't start the top one. Actually, you've got to put that bolt in through the back, and then you've got to try to line it up with the threads on the back of the speaker. And it's really challenging. You've got to have a light back there so you can see. There's really, you know, by the time you get it lined up there, there's really not much room to see. And so that was what took the longest, was trying to get that bolt threaded into the back of the speaker. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. And once I get the other speaker mounted, then I can move on to trying to put the head unit in, which is actually going to be the fun part, because I don't think it's going to be that difficult to do. And maybe we're not far from actually listening to this thing play music. All right, next, we've got both speakers installed or mounted. We've got both speakers mounted, and per the instructions, the next thing we need to do is cut off the reserved position D of the storage box C, which this is, I just call it a cubby. And in the back, there's a perforated plastic little rectangle in there. And they say you're supposed to cut that out. Let me see. I'm always nervous about doing stuff like this, cutting and drilling and things like that on something that's brand new. Anyway, that's designed to be punched out. And the next step is to remove this panel. I'm a little nervous about that. I've seen it pulled off in videos. I'm just always afraid I might break something back there, but that's the next step. They say just a kind of a gentle tug. All right. It's definitely harder to get off than I thought. I just don't want to break anything. There it goes. Kind of got to pull down on it. Okay. And then, let's see here. That's already plugged in right there, so I need to release that, I guess. The The wires are pretty tight back there. I thought I would have more space. Nothing's ever as simple as they make it out to be, it seems. There it goes. And all right, those two go right there. The yellow one is a blank, I guess. Purple one goes there. The yellow one goes there. And this is cigarette lighter. And I don't know if I needed to unplug all them or not, but I wanted more room. There's a plug right there. It's not labeled. That's the gas pedal. Look at the directions again. It says remove the switch panel. Pass the cable 6 through the hole D of the storage box. The black connector end of the cable is in the storage box. Pull out the 2 horn wires on the cable from the bottom of the storage box. Well, here we are, finally finished installing the audio system. I cut off on the last video, or the last segment of the video, when I was taking the dash apart because it was just too much. It was going to be hard to film it by myself, and I was struggling. As it turns out, this is like 2 hours later after the previous segment of the video when I was taking the dash apart. It turned out to be a real pain in the ass, to be honest. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'm not sorry that I bought it. I'm glad that I have it. I'm glad that I finally have it installed. I haven't driven down the road at speed yet with it on. Here in the barn, it sounds pretty loud, but I can already tell that it is not as loud as your average factory car audio system. Of course, it only has 2 speakers. It's got 2 6.5-inch speakers in the floorboard. It's got a decent crisp sound to it. It's got a little bit of bass. It does have an adjustable EQ in there where you can adjust your bass and your treble and your fade if you had rear speakers, and your balance. And it's got your AM/FM presets, Bluetooth and auxiliary and USB port and all that. It's not bad. Some of the problems that I have with it is that the speakers, they mount on the floorboard, which I knew that going into it, but they screw into plastic, which, that's probably got a lifespan to it. Eventually, that may come out. The unit here in the dash, there's this rubber thing right here that's covering up what would be another toggle switch if you wanted to put one there. So this is a blank. These pieces of rubber came with peel-off sticky adhesive on them. And when I peeled them off, the whole thing came off. This one I think I managed to salvage. I think it's stuck on okay. This one was useless, and I had some double-sided tape that I stuck on there, but it looks like crap, and it's probably not going to stay, so I'm going to probably super glue that. The little bitty screws that they provide with it that are supposed to self-tap into the dash, they're puny. I did end up using 3 of them, and then a 4th one I found a self-tapping, a larger screw that I had here in the barn, and I put it in there. I probably should have done that with all of them, but I already had these in there, being that it screws into plastic. You know, you don't get too many chances of messing with that before you strip it out. The wiring was sort of straightforward. It does have a somewhat decent installation guide or manual, but it's very vague. At least it's in English, and at least they have color photographs. But if it had not been for the one and only video of of an installation of this same unit on YouTube from 3 years ago with Real Talk Power Sports at Main Street Cycle, even their video was a little bit vague. Not knocking them, but they left out a lot of useful steps and information in their video. But there was one real important step that when they talked about disconnecting the cigarette lighter, which is the 12-volt wire, and then hooking up the pigtail to that and forming a loop, that was helpful. That's really the only part of their video that helped me. The speakers didn't line up properly in the floorboard like they showed. Of course, this is a 2025 Uforce XL, 800 XL. They were installing it on a 600, but it says in the description of this on the website that it also fits 800 XL, and it does sort of. There's just a huge gap in where the screw mounts on the upper portion of the speaker that I had to add a 2-inch screw that I just happened to have here in the barn that fit. And so if you buy this system, you're going to have to make that modification. I would suggest taking this to the dealership and having it installed in case they mess something up. It's on them. I got it done. It took me half the day, probably about 4 hours. It was a major pain in the ass. The wiring, I am glad that CFmoto, has the wiring done where I didn't have to run anything to the battery. I just tapped into the cigarette lighter, and because that's how they made it, and it does have a wiring harness. Everything is labeled on the unit, but the labels inside the dash are in Chinese, and luckily I didn't have to fool with that. But I can see where if I add accessories in the future, I may have to know what that Chinese wording says. So overall, for $650, I know I just got it installed. I haven't driven down the road to speed. I have a feeling I'm going to be able to hear the music okay, but not great. I wanted a dash-mounted system, and I have it now. And I can build onto this. I can hook up 4 more speakers to it. It's already, there's wiring for that. And I could buy some aftermarket speakers, and I could run wire to it, and I could install an amp. There's preamp RCA jacks for an amp. I could add an amp, and I could add some other speakers, and I can make it louder. Is it worth $650? That's a hell no. But as with most things in the UTV world, everything is overpriced, especially accessories. I believe they charge way too much. I think they could have made a decent profit at $300. But it is what it is. It's okay, but if you've got $650 burning a hole in your pocket, you could put that money towards wheels and tires or something else. I don't recommend spending $650 on this audio system, to be honest with you. I'm not unhappy with it, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion of it. It looks cool. The speakers look pretty nice. The head unit is very basic. Of course, I knew that too going into it. But again, there was no other videos of somebody going through the menu and pushing the buttons and showing you what this does and what that does and everything. There's nothing on the internet nobody. And as I've had it for a little while, I may do a little video showing you exactly what all the buttons do and all that stuff. I need to familiarize myself with it. But my overall opinions are the installation, as far as easy to hard, 10 being easy, 1 being difficult, I give it like a 4. It's pretty difficult. Take it to a dealer and have them do it. Overall aesthetics, I give it like a 5. It's right in the middle. They could have done some things better. I don't like the fact that everything screws into plastic with self-tapping screws. Sound quality, it's pretty clean. It's just not going to be loud enough. Not for most people. Bluetooth connectivity so far, it connects as soon as, if I've got my Bluetooth turned on my phone and I turn that thing on, it connects. Other than that, I guess that's about all I've got. It's been a long day. I was excited to get this thing installed. I wanted to, make a video all about it. And so I've got to edit everything together. And we'll see what it is. It's just not going to be a very detailed installation video on my part, because I had such a difficult time doing it, and it was almost impossible to film it at least good enough for you to see what I was doing. I really would need somebody holding the phone close, to what I was doing and being able to zoom in, and just doing it with one hand or with a tripod, you'd kind of been left in the dark anyways. So I'll put the video together. Hopefully it turns out all right. I hope that I'm able to, I hope that my video clarifies exactly what I had to go through to put this in, and how I feel about it, and maybe the information in my video will help you make a decision for yourself. I think they just could have done some things better. CFmoto, I love my machine. I love everything about it. This is the biggest upgrade that I've done to the machine so far. I've got a light bar over there. I was going to put that on today, and I'm just wore out. I'm hungry. I need to go to the house, so I'm going to do the light bar tomorrow. But I was hoping to have it on today so I could drive around at night and see how it does. But that's just going to have to wait until tomorrow. All right, y'all. I appreciate you watching the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, there will be some links in the description to Main Street Cycles website where I bought this. There'll be a link to this in there. Yeah, so I guess that's it. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching, and be good.